heard of it. My brother went to it. Oh my God, they have this thing called the Lioness, I think. And oh my God, it is diabetes in a plastic bowl. It has like vanilla, chocolate, and a cookie dough ice cream with syrup drizzle on it, waffle, what's it called? Like a waffle stick, and pecans, walnuts, peanuts, like all the good stuff on it. But it's not worth getting up yet. My bed is my best friend.
Enjoy
I shall never leave it. I shall never leave it. It's been there for me through all the years.
Enjoy what you can.
Yeah, I was looking for my dog, and I sent Amber a Snapchat of my dog. She wasn't in her bed. She wasn't on my floor, but she was hiding under my pillows, and I almost laid on her. I slapped. Yeah. Huh?
Right?
I accidentally slapped the crap out of her the other day because I leave my door open, and she likes to come in here unannounced, and I was stretching, and I just slapped the crap out of her on accident. And I do, whenever you do something to your dog that you don't mean to do, and then I was like, "Oh my baby, I'm so sorry. I love you. Didn't mean to do that."
They look at you like,
I was like, "I love you." I gave her all the bacon in the world that she wanted.
Big mess.
We're already.
Could you I will cash app you money just to go try Commerce Cafe, because the people from foreign and domestic opened it up, and I think it's a farm to table concept, and I really want to go. But it's in Lockhart, and I currently don't have a car because it was totaled on the 31st of March.
I do not drive, and you wouldn't have to cash at me. I would buy you it.
No, like, I need you to go and experience it for me. I want to.
Okay, bet. I'll see if my mom wants to go sometime this week.
Because I'm really interested in that concept, farm to table.
I will get out of bed for you. That's how much I will do it for you. I will get out of bed.
Say something.
Yes, Amber knows. I will get out of bed for you and go experience it myself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But yeah, so we're already planning my 21st birthday.
Nice.
The whole week in Louisiana.
Careful. Louisiana's a hot spot.
I know. I went there for spring break, and man, but it was really beautiful. Everybody was so nice.
All right, guys, let's get started. I know Miss Anaí had a question. Let's go over her summary concept right now real quick. I'm going to pull it up here.
No, not like...
Yeah, you had a question, right? Okay. So
yeah, but like,
No. I'm going to go over the summary concept real quick and the whole project, because I know most of you guys already started and on the roll. Mr. Vic, if you can hear me, Mr. Victor.
Here.
All right, Mr. Victor is way ahead of his game on the summary concept. He's already tapped into his recipe cost cards. How long did it take you to do the recipes? How to break them down?
The recipe?
Yeah.
Oh, I just copy from the restaurant app.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I'm actually halfway through changing my mind again, so most of this is not going to be accurate. I was just looking at the revenue assumptions tab. Hold on, I'm looking. It's confusing to look at your screen.
Right.
Yeah, so it says incorporate labor costs here, as in we're copying our what, so that it reflects on the monthly and yearly P&L.
So
because, I do have 3 hourly people potentially, and it's just not like I have a schedule. It's just I don't know where to put it into.
Okay, this one you don't do anything to the spreadsheet right here. You start plugging in items here. It's going to throw off your your sales. So leave this as it is, and don't do nothing with this tab. What's going to happen here, your labor assumptions, right? Here we go, right? This is the imperative part. This is where you need to have the managers, okay, like you have here, okay? And then at the bottom here, the front of the house, employees, cashier, hostess, greeters, servers, bussers, all that goes in here along with the duties, right? And then the hourly wage, how much you're going to pay them per hour.
Okay.
Down at the bottom here, okay, there's another section, back of the house, okay? You have two right now, 18 and 15. So you're going to start plugging them in here. How many cooks, what are the responsibility, and how much are you paying them, okay? This doesn't go in here, okay? This doesn't generate here. What generates is going to be up here, okay?
Yeah, so on the salaries part of it, it says the salaries, but underneath, I don't know where to put my schedule so that it gets the hourly, so that it's able to calculate it.
You don't. You can do an extra tab just like you did demographics here, okay?
Okay.
But as far as populating the numbers, there's no way you can attach a schedule. It'll populate it for you on the P&L statement. What you're going to do is, again, on your labor assumptions tab, fill in as much as you can. And as you fill it, it is going to populate on your monthly P&L statement your hourly and your salary here. Okay, right now it says value because there's nothing, you still have unplugged cells in the earlier spreadsheets and the early tabs. Once you start plugging in the information, it's going to populate everything here. It's going to give you this this amount right here, along with your food sales, beverage sales. So that's why we go back to the page number 1, and all this needs to be filled out like you have here: seating capacity, covers for lunch, average check, and so forth, so on. Once you start plugging each information into each tab, it's going to populate everything at the end. And the last part of this spreadsheet is, okay, are you going to be busy January? How busy? Medium, then you type in 50%, and it's going to start populating the numbers now too, okay? Your food cost is you're going to take a look at your recipe cost cards, okay? Your recipe, your where are they at? Standard recipe cost cards right here, and you're going to collect all your raw costs, and you're going to collect all your retail costs according to your menu, how much you're going to sell them for. You're going to tally them both, and then divide this one, the low by the high, and that's going to be your food cost. So here on this monthly P&L statement, you're going to type that number here.
Okay.
And then it'll populate your profit, your bottom line number.
Okay.
So yes, you can do demographics, like a demographics tab, do another tab and plug in your schedule, but it's not going to populate anything down the pipeline. The only thing that populates is what's already built in.
All right.
Okay.
I can still change my mind, right? Because I had an idea, and then I had another idea. I don't know. I don't know. I'm changing my mind a lot. But if it's done before the week, before it's actually fully graded, it's okay, right?
Yeah, you got about, what's week 3, 4, 5, and 6? You got what, 3 weeks left? Well, 3.5, almost 4 weeks. So we're gonna hopefully, but next week we're gonna wind down of the lectures, and we're gonna start working on it as we go over there because it's a massive project. And you're right, Mr. Jesus, a lot of numbers, but it's understanding how they all work together, intricately work together, and formulate that last bottom line number. You take away home percentage, which is your profit. Okay. And your profit, once again, on your monthly P&L statement, your profit needs to be no less than 20% here. Okay? If you make less than 20%, you're working yourself to death and you're not making money. Okay? You got to make money on that bottom line number. Okay?
Yes, sir.
On this one, the yellow highlight, yes. If you're going to be mediocre, maybe 40. If February is going to be the busiest month, 100%. And then maybe March 80, 90, so whatever month you think you're going to be the busiest, you plug in the percentage there, and it's going to start populating the numbers. And then you can plug in your food costs according to what we have, across the board, and just make up a beverage cost, food cost, and plug it in here, and it's going to populate that number.
Okay, thank you, Chef.
Did you guys follow me on this one? Numbers, numbers. We live and die by numbers. You're born, you get a social security, birthday, right? You turn 18, driver license, bank account. You register, right? What else? You die, you get a lot and a number. So we live and die by numbers, guys. Numbers, numbers, numbers. Okay. So without further notice, let's go to what we have on hand today. Let's go to labor. We're going to discuss labor quite a bit today and some of it tomorrow, and we'll start winding down our lectures by Friday. But Friday, we should be spending most of the day hopefully working on your project. So Mr. Victor, I know you say you copy and paste those the concept from your restaurant. We're going to go over it today or tomorrow and see where you're at and see how it aligns and populates the numbers for the final project, okay? So I'm going to, as we go along, we're going to take a look at your recipe cost cards and make sure they all make sense and they'll populate and you're sitting at a good food percentage and all the formulas will plug in as well too, okay? So it's a lot of work to be done still, guys. So again, I strongly suggest you guys to start looking into filling in as much information as you can now and not wait until the last week because it's going to be crunch time last week, okay? Week 5, got it? All right, let's talk about numbers. Here we go. Where we at? What's my screen? Numbers, 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 right? Labor. Actually, day 10. I mistyped it. Okay. How to manage your labor and determining your labor needs, right? Okay. So again, you can create a schedule. In a restaurant is like fitting together the pieces of the puzzle. A proper functioning schedule is vital to your business. But putting all the right people in all the right places is just a part of writing a schedule. There is the other part is knowing what your true needs really are. So when we do a schedule, I ask you guys to go ahead and do a spreadsheet, put in a schedule, and attach it to your concept summary. But also what I look for it is making sure you have coverage. If you have a sous chef in the morning, are you going to have a sous chef at night? What are your busiest days? Is it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday morning? Are you going to load it up with staff? Or are you going to start loading it up on Monday, Tuesday, where does it make sense? And you're going to be skimming down on Friday and Saturday. So all those factors go into creating a schedule, understanding the business and how to fit it in to your concept, okay? So for labor systems, the key measurement is dollars, dollar billios, C notes, cash notes, moolah, greenbacks, debt precedents, pesos, euros, right? All that stuff, okay? Per labor hour. So dollars per labor hour, keep that in mind. This number will tell you certainly when you don't have enough labor and when you have too much labor scheduled for a certain shift. And again, looking at 24% of your labor. So on the P&L statement, we're going to take a look at your labor and make sure you hit 24%. If you're not, you got to go back to the beginning of the spreadsheets and cut that down, trim it, and make sure you get to the 24%. Okay. Ideally, you want the right amount of people in place for the needs of the business and no more. You don't want to have extra bodies, otherwise they've got no place to work. They're idling and they're going to be bleeding your pocket out of money. Okay. Together, first focus on tracking your dollars per labor hour. Dollars per labor hour is sales divided by hours. Again, dollars per labor hour is sales divided by hours, okay? Remember that formula. This tells you how many dollars are coming in the restaurant per hour's work. It's a roadmap to scheduling your hours in the right places. You'll need to see trends and be able to move hours from less efficient shifts to over efficient shifts, okay? So dollars per labor hour, sales divided by hours, okay? So let's say you do $24,000 a week. How many hours do you have to give on a weekly schedule, okay? Efficiencies are different for everyone's restaurant, so track your dollars per labor hour and realize that 3 weeks is what makes a trend. So you need about 3 weeks history to figure out where you stand, okay? What else? And if your gut is telling you something is different, pay attention, but don't forego the numbers just because it doesn't feel right. Change is hard for everyone, okay, everyone, and your team is used to having a dishwasher on Thursday nights, they're not going to like it if you tell them that you're not getting one anymore, okay? Observe what Thursday nights are really like and what is really needed. Then compare that to your dollars per labor hour and make an educated decision, not a guess. So that's why it's important to figure out when are your busiest times and if can you afford a dishwasher or not. Because if you are busy and you have no dishwasher, your line cooks are not going to like it because they got their butts kicked and now they got to not only clean the line, they got to go bust dishes for the restaurant and all their equipment, plus take out the trash, sweep and mop, and all the good stuff. So always be smart on your schedule. The most important thing is to just get started, gather the information you need to combine your gut instincts with solid numbers. Solid numbers. 5 easy steps to calculate restaurant labor costs. Calculating a restaurant cost is a critical part of your job. It doesn't have to be difficult or time consuming. It doesn't. Once knew a chef who told me that if you have a well-run system, you should not be able to spend more than 20% in the office behind the desk. Okay. It is also worth the effort because when you know what costs are, you can measure them against sales and a good idea of how your restaurant is faring. You can then use the information to quickly pinpoint areas of improvement in your restaurant operations. As you know, the two biggest expenses for restaurants are prime costs, or the combined cost of food and beverage labor. Prime costs should not equal more than 55 to 60%. That's what I was telling you guys. Your labor has to be about 24%, so you can take more of that pie home. Okay, 60% of weekly sales, with labor being 17% of total weekly sales. 24 is good. 17, that's a little bit too low. Okay. 1, estimate the number of guests at a certain time. For example, usually have 40 guests between hours of 3 and 4 p.m. So again, 40 guests between 3 and 4. Are you going to be fully loaded or are you going to skim it down? What should you do between 3 and 4? Cut back. 2, look at the number of staff needed to serve guests. 1 cook hour allotted for every 20 guests, so equals 2 cook hours. Okay, 1 server hour for 10 guests equals 4 server hours. 1 host for every 20 guests, 2 host hours. A total of 8 employee hours needed to cover 40 guests. 8 employee hours for 40 guests. Okay. 3, determine what each hour equals in wages. The cook's average wage is $15 times 2 hours. That's $30. The server's average is $5 times 4 hours. That's $20. The hostess average is $8 times 2 hours. That's $16. Okay. So find your projected labor percentage. The projected sales for your 40 guests is $480. Those are your sales. The projected labor dollars spent on 40 guests is $66. That's how much you spend on your labor. Divide the labor dollars by the sales, you get a projected labor percentage. Not bad, you're sitting at 13.8%. Okay. This falls in the normal range of labor costs. No more than 15, 17 of sales, and no changes or adjustment needed to be made. And that's why a lot of restaurants get in trouble because they have a fully staffed line between 3 and 4 and no business. The labor percentages are extremely high. Okay. Rules of etiquette for restaurant schedules. Try to post schedules 2 weeks in advance, especially during the holidays or other events, which can change the normal schedule. This allows you to your crew to have a life and make plans, which leads to a happier staff and fewer callouts because they made plans before you posted a schedule. Always try to have 2 week schedules out. I try that with my staff just to make sure that they could schedule whatever personal life activities they need to be having outside of work. And sometimes, we had a good staff pretty much set. It wasn't set in stone, but they had a pretty steady days off. They knew the next week what the days off were going to be. Unless I change them, then I will give them a heads up. Okay. To accommodate requests for days off, let the crew know that it's first come, first serve if asking for a Saturday or busy day off. This means they do need to plan ahead and lets them know that perhaps you can let one or a few have a day off. But beyond that, the answer is no. Have you guys ever requested a Friday or Saturday or Sunday morning off? And what was the answer?
Hell no.
Until the no, right? Unless you request it way in advance, then the your chef or manager then tries to shuffle the schedule so you can have coverage and grant your days off. Because if you don't, they're gonna get pissed off at you. They're gonna do subpar work, and then it's gonna go downhill from there. Okay. So next, talk with the crew to be sure that they're willing to pick up the extra work if you choose to allow shift to be occasionally short-staffed in order to accommodate requested days off. Okay, again, talk to them. Often the staff will rally together and work harder if they know what they're also going to have the opportunity to get a Saturday or busy day off, but off occasionally. But don't allow this to be the norm. Occasionally is the key is word here, occasionally. So in this place, if you do want to have a Saturday off, you got to rotate it. Make sure that the other ones at least have a weekend off. Otherwise, again, it'll be favoritism, and you're gonna have a riot in your hands. Okay, union the bounty. Be fair to everybody. Once the schedule is posted, both the management team and the crew need to honor it. Okay, is it too late for the chef or manager to change the schedule? Things happen, and sometimes the schedule may need to change after it's posted. And in most cases, in most states, perhaps all states, the business has the legal right to change the schedules. But doing so doesn't show respect for your crew. Work with your staff and get the permission to make the changes. So again, in other words, make sure that the crew knows that you're about to change the schedule. Saturday come around, I had to let somebody go. So that means the schedule had to be altered, it had to be edited for the following week. That means my crew schedule had to be rearranged. So I pull them together. Hey, by the way, Joe Blow doesn't work here anymore. Unfortunately, he weeded himself out. He terminated his own self. So we're gonna need you guys to rally together and help us through until we get somebody else hired or somebody else promoted within to take that station. In the meantime, I need your all's help to make sure that we have coverage on the schedule. And that's out of respect for the staff. And that also maybe gives them a little chance to see if they might want to work overtime and pick up an extra shift to make a little bit extra money. Okay. Not forced to, but again, it's out of respect for your staff. Okay. Is it too late for a cook to ask for a day off if the schedule is posted? Sometimes. They will have to change their plans to come into work or negotiate with other cooks to swap days. If you're able to swap days with other cooks, make sure you note it in the schedule, do the changes, and make sure everybody's on the same page. Because if they swap days, let's say Joe Blow is off Sunday and Monday, Jane Smith is off Tuesday and Wednesday. They switch Monday. Joe's going to be off. He's going to work on Sunday, and then Jane is going to be off Tuesday. Make sure you know those changes in the schedule so everybody knows it. So when it comes time to me, they're like, I don't speak English. I don't know what you're talking about. I nobody saying anything to me. So my schedule, I was off, this days, and I come back and it's the same. Well, we pull you together. We talked about it. You agreed upon it. We made the changes on the sheet, and now here we are. Okay, that's a cool picture. My cat peeps. Right? When they ask you to take a shift, when you ask for a day off, right? Yeah. If a team member changes their days and shifts, then always enforce that it must be approved by the chef, a supervisor, or manager. This ensures that you approve of the change and that the needs of the business are met. You don't want the grill guy to kind of the pantry cook to work for him. Post the changes in the schedule and have each person initial on the schedule, accepting responsibilities and showing up for the different shift. In this case, if they're always asking, "Oh, I need this day off. Oh, I need this day off." What the right? You agreed upon this schedule. We have an application that you're going to work on this dates. So why is it all of a sudden that you can't work on a certain days, right? So maybe you work with them, or maybe they don't want to work. So you got to sit them and communicate. Ask why. So how to make a restaurant schedule? Real easy, guys. Real easy. Did you guys get my spreadsheet for the first week? It says a master something, 2019 master schedule. Sure you gotten it. Okay. So how to make a restaurant schedule? A functional dining room service relies on a logical staff schedule. Before you spend any time making your employee schedule, it is more important to know some of the basics first. Factors like tipping, weekly hours, time off, overtime, and loss for employee minors all come into play when making a successful restaurant schedule. while it can be seem overwhelming, there are a few helpful things to keep in mind that will make your process much easier. Okay. What are tip employees?
That's like people, instead of getting paid like the whole, like say it's like $10, they would get maybe like two something. I don't know how much it is, but then they get mostly paid in tips.
Right.
That's how they make their money.
And that's how their hourly wage increases, right? Because it depends how they hustle to get the food out. Their hourly wage is is very small, very dismal, but they make it how well they sell the food, the salespeople. So those are tipped employees, and you're right. So a tipped employee is someone who mainly earns their wages through tips, while there are other many professions where tipping is customary. Servers and bartenders are among the most common. Servers and bartenders, okay? Tip wages are calculated differently. Depending on your state, some states are required to pay their employees full minimum wage before tips, in which case patrons are expected to tip less or none at all. However, tipping at restaurants is customary throughout most of the United States, so servers are typically only paid a minimum cash wage that is combined with the tip wages to reach the federal minimum wage or more. You should also keep in mind that a certain members of your staff will not be receiving tips. Typically, the front of the house staff will split the tips with the shift, and back of the house will not receive tips because the hourly wage is a little bit higher. Okay. But in mind, make sure that your prep cooks, dishwashers are making an hourly wage that's appropriate. You don't want to undercut them, right? So how to offer a fair week's work for employees? Aside from compensating for some employees receiving tips while others don't, it is also important to know that some shifts are more lucrative than others because more customers mean more tips. No matter what kind of food service establishment you have, this is just a fact of life. There are a few ways you can ensure that every person receives an appropriate amount of tips throughout the week. Okay, so make sure you have enough coverage and be fair and square to the front of the house that they at least get a chance to work in the busiest days. So vary each person's shift time. In most cases, your business will have busy times and slow times a day. If you own a coffee shop, the early morning hours are more likely with the most popular, as patrons swing by to pick up their coffee or for breakfast on their way to work. If you're owner at the bar, evening will be likely your busiest time as people wind down with the beer after the long day. So keep an open dialogue with your staff about this patterns and make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to earn fair tips by switching their schedule. Okay, so you gotta switch your schedule once in a while. Okay. One of the best ways to approach this difference between shifts is to spread your staff out evenly, allowing equal opportunities for your senior staff and new hires to experience a mix of different times a day. This would also ensure that everybody gets an ample experience and is properly trained on all the different responsibilities that come with each shift, which will ultimately leave more room for flexibility when it comes to employee filling each other. So sometimes in places that have a wait staff or servers that have been there a long time, they don't want to give up their Friday or Saturday. They might want to give up, Sunday, Monday, or Monday, Tuesday because it's dead, but they want to make sure that they're there when it's busy because they're going to make a lot more money on their tips, right? You ever work with those servers that are like, right? They're dead set on a certain shift. They don't want to give it to nobody. They don't want to share the tips because they know they're making back. So schedule an appropriate amount of people. You need to make sure that more people are scheduled during the busy times and fewer people during slow times. Not only does this make the division tips fairer, but also ensures that there are enough employees to complete the necessary tasks. In relation to the demand, you're not sure what times of the day are busiest. Most POS systems can track transactions activity through the day, so you can pull graphs and see exactly where your traffic is at peaks and lows. So again, POS system is very important in the business, guys. Make sure you have one adequate that fits your needs. It may seem like a good idea to compensate for slower times by offering a higher hourly rate during the times where tips are sparse. Chances are that your lower shifts are less strenuous for your staff, so it makes sense that they should make more money for serving more customers. Conversely, any downtime can be spent cleaning or taking care of their important tasks, as it's still a valuable, productive time. but you probably don't need to 3 people to mop the floor. And you have too many employees sitting around, they'll need to split the small amount of tips they made and each going with pennies. So it's not always a fun thing to have your staff go with a little bit of money. So, right? So again, make sure you have enough front of the house staff so they're at least go home with a decent amount of money. Keep some people on call. It's up to you. I've never done that. I'm not really too keen on keeping people on call. I don't think it's fair. But while keeping some staff on call is not ideal, this approach can ensure that you have the help you need if things get unexpectedly busy. Similarly, you don't be afraid to send people home if things are slow. You guys ever been in a workplace that the manager comes around and says, "You guys go home"? They send you home.
That happened to me in my other job. It was by the start of the COVID, and that's when it started. He started to let me go first because I was the buster. It was great.
Yeah, some people, they walk around the kitchen. If it's not busy, it's like, okay, you go home, right? It's not fun. It's not fun, right? Because you're depending on the money. But if it's slow, why stay there, right? If you're in front of the house server, you're getting paid $2.30 an hour. Are you going to sit there and start scrubbing the walls and scrubbing the floors for $2.30 an hour? Probably not worth your time, right? So again, spread it out, okay? Anyways, well, it's not a good idea to ask your employees to shuffle their personal lives around to accommodate last-minute requests. Being upfront with them about staying flexible for a few hours on a Saturday is all right, even now and then. It's also, if you can encourage your managers to step in if things get crazy, since they have a higher hourly pay. Sometimes the managers don't want to do the labor work, right? I'm like, I'm like, what do you mean no? Okay. So hire more than one manager, right? Take some of the pressure off your manager by hiring 2 co-managers. That way you can have one manager on duty at all times to address any issues that might be too demanding for your regular staff times. Well, it maybe seem like paying 2 managers' wages not beneficial to your business. Having a manager present at all times can go a long way towards improving the customer's experience. And well, as we all know, providing a positive experience for your customers is the only way your business will succeed. I didn't like when we used to go into the restaurant and I couldn't find my manager. Somebody's got to be there, right? Oh, there's a storm coming your way? My goodness. Okay, cool. Let's keep us posted. Remember that employees have personal lives too. Yes, we all have personal lives, right? We like to go jogging, we like to go walk, we like to sleep all day in the bed, we like to go grocery shopping, do laundry, right? So keep in mind that you can't burn them to death. Whether they're working around school, a family, or second job, chances are your employees all have different scheduling needs. Ideally, you can get a sense of each person's unique schedule when they're first hired. That way, that way you can staff your establishment with people with varying availability. But even then, life happens and schedules are likely to change. So when it comes to making a fair schedule, keep open mind and check with the employees' availability. You can't put the breakfast cook to work the midnight shift, right? And vice versa. So you got to make sure that you have enough staff to cover it, and also maybe they're flexible. Okay. Make sure your employees have time to rest. Ensuring that each staff member has the fair amount of time goes off a long way towards preventing stress and fatigue. You should hire enough people so that everyone can have 2 days off per week, and if those days can be consecutive, that's ideal. Also, make sure that you only ever ask the same person to close and open the next day if it's an emergency. You want your staff to have enough time to feel well rested before returning to work. You should also come up with a clear system your staff can use to request time off for family events and vacations. You guys ever been in the club open? Anybody? You guys ever close and open the next day?
Yeah.
How was that?
I'm gonna say it, like my own personal hell. That's what I had to do. So.
It's NF, right? No fun.
No.
You come in the next day and you're like a zombie. Not enough sleep and still discombobulated, can't even function. So when you do have that, make sure that you give them another day off or try to compensate so they can get well rested. because being in the open, it ain't fun. And besides, you might hurt yourself at the job too. Okay. So what positions do you need? When scheduling shift, you'll want one or more people from each of these categories. Back of the house manager, this can be a kitchen manager, executive chef, head pastry, sous chef, or similar. Front of the house, it can be general manager, floor manager, bar manager, lead server, or similar. Kitchen staff, okay, prep cooks, line cooks, dishwashers. Front of the house, counter staff, servers, bartenders, and bussers. What does your project need? Determining operating hours. You don't want workers working for more than 40 hours a week. Again, overtime. Thus, if your operating hours more than 8 hours, or your employees work more than 5 hours a week, you need more than one shift per day. In addition, you want to an hour overlap between shifts so that the restaurant can operate without interruptions. And chefs from one shift can hand off their work to another person. So you almost got to have that overlap. Because sometimes in the morning, the 5 a.m. to 1 o'clock, 1:30 p.m. cooks, 1 o'clock comes in, they're out of there. Now your staff is coming at 2 o'clock, and there's nobody between that time to cover your shift. Okay. A note: your operating hours are about 2 hours longer than you think they are. Most restaurants need about an hour to set up before they open, and about an hour to clean up after they close. In other words, if you're open for more than 6 hours, your operating hours are more than 8. Okay. For example, your restaurant is open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. That means you'll need a staff on hand between 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can schedule 2 shifts, 6 to 1 and one from 12 to 7. Alternative, you can schedule more staff on a swing shift, a shift that bridges the 2 shifts. And then you have one shift from 6 a.m. to 12:30, another one to 12:30 from 7, and a swing shift from 11 to 2 p.m. So that way you always have coverage. A longer example, you're running a food truck. Who's my food truck peeps? Anybody a food truck? Okay. You need 3 employees on hand at all times. 3 employees on hand at all times. Okay. You should always have enough employees to cover every shift. You open 7 days a week. So to keep any of the employees from having to work a 7-day work week, you have 4 total employees. Your schedule might look like this. Anybody wanted to have a food truck concept? Anybody?
Used to, until I started to work at one.
Tight, right?
It's just loud, it's hot, gray water is nasty.
Yeah, I want to keep that in mind. You gotta change the water. Yeah, gray water, not a good example. So here we go.
Brave person.
The what?
That takes a brave person to be able to run a food truck, because I've seen like the inside of a food truck. I couldn't do it. Too small space with like trying to get everything done. And usually the food trucks I see have like 2 people in it. No, I wouldn't do it myself, let alone with another person in that small little section.
Running a food truck, you're just you're like a professional chef Mike. All you do is you take all the food that was prepped beforehand, you heat it up, you give it to the customer.
Yep. In the food truck, we call that the kitchen dance. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because the space is so limited, you got to be able to dance around your partner to make sure you execute that food. Also depends on your menu. If your menu it's crisscrossing back and forth, then you're going to have that traffic jam between the stations in the food truck. So make sure you design the menu accordingly and not have that traffic jam. So here we go, Ms. Karen. Food truck, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Elmo, Bert, Ernie, and Oscar. Yes, the Muppet Show. Okay. Elmo, Sunday, 4 to 10. Bert, 4 to 10. Ernie, 4 to 10. Oscar, 4 to 10. Monday, Elmo is off. He's off also on Thursday. So you got 4 on Sunday, 3 Monday, 3 Tuesday, 4 Wednesday, 3 Thursday, 4 Friday, 1 Saturday. So that schedule, what do you guys think about that schedule?
That's pretty solid, but to make everybody happy in a long run, you would have to rotate those hours every 2 weeks.
Look at Saturday. Do you have enough coverage?
Not at all.
You got 1, right?
No, shit.
Yeah, you got 4 on Friday, 4 on Sunday, 3 Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, and 4 Wednesday. So there's some wiggle room to play with here, right? To make sure you have enough coverage on Saturday, because Saturday obviously is the busiest days, right? So this is what I'm talking about when you take a look at the schedule. Not enough coverage on Saturday. Elmo and Ernie work 5 days a week, right? Elmo and Ernie, 5 days a week. Okay. Well, Bert and Oscar, 6 days a week, right? Here's Bert and Oscar. Okay. You could hire a 5th employee and reduce everyone else's hours. No, you can also make employees to work extra shifts if others call out sick. Okay. Overtime, again, overtime. If you have to pay employees time and a half for work over 40 hours a week, for instance, if you're paying a line cook $10 an hour, his or her wage will be $10 per hour for the first hour, 40 hours, and 15 for the hours afterwards. This costs add up. The best way to avoid this is to keep everyone's total hours at least no more than 40 hours a week. You may want to have an additional buffer. For instance, to keep everybody at 36 hours. So when you schedule, you can always schedule 36 hours or below, just in case they might need to stay a little bit later. They can stay later without going into overtime. Okay, it's smart scheduling. Okay, you still give it full time, right? But not 40 hours, because if you give 40 hours, you're gonna get slammed. Now you're gonna have to need to stay a little bit longer. Now you're gonna go over the 40-hour threshold. If that happens, you'll need to call employees for extra shifts, and if you want to keep the total number of hours per less than 40 hours. I believe in California it was like 15 hours, 10 to 15 hours overtime, and after that it was double time. So I think here in Texas is anything above 40 hours is overtime, but I think anything over 50 hours it becomes double time. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Love those days.
And don't forget holiday pay too. If you can line them all up in a short amount of time, it is just rolling in it.
Oh yeah, holiday pay, double time, overtime, regular time. Man, oh man, those chicks.
Incentive pay.
Oh.
One time I got all of those in 1 week.
Dude, it makes a very nice paycheck, right?
Yes, it does.
Covers the bills, covers the food, covers everything. And you still have some dough left over not for the needs, the wants.
That's when you go for a treat yourself day.
Exactly, right? Cross training. Cross training is another way to bridge the gap if someone calls in sick or quits. The more skills employees have, the more flexible you can be with their hours. If you only have one person who can work the saute station, then you always need him on hand. But if you have different employees that can saute, you'll need him. You need one of them to staff for any given shift. Always cross train. I'd be big on that too. Always cross train. Okay. Here's a list of things to keep in mind while making your schedule. First, determine how many of your employees fall into the restrictions due to labor regulations, such as hours allotted to minors. What is the law in Texas here about minors? Does anybody know? Anybody under 18?
It has to be between 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. If it's before or after those times, you need a sign off from a direct supervisor. And they can't work more than 30 hours a week, I want to say.
What is the age? You know?
It's 17 below.
They can't work 17 below?
No, wait, did you say hours or ages?
No, the ages. What's the cutoff age that they cannot work?
Oh, 15. So
There
you can
go.
start work at 15, or if you're going for a hardship license or something like that, if it's farm work, like under the table stuff, you can start working at the age of 13.
Not bad.
Is what I did.
Back in my heyday, it was 16 years of age and no more than 26 hours a week. But times change. So anyways, as minors, right? Just make sure if you're going to hire a minor, make sure you know your laws. Indicate each person's days off. Figure out what roles need to be filled at different points during the day. What time should the prep cooks be there versus when should your second bartender arrive to help you through the rush. Make sure you stack your manager's schedules and everyone's schedules too. For that matter, fill out your shift so there's more employee coverage all day. Well, this is a basic example of just a few employees and shifts. Larger establishments will, of course, have more people and more moving parts. Having a larger staff can certainly complicate things, but also gives you more flexibility to shuffle things around in a way that will work your best for everybody. Okay, so make sure you have adequate staff. I did a practice the other day. We built a schedule on my restaurant up class, and they built a spreadsheet. And I said, okay, guys, we're gonna, just for the practice, we're gonna estimate that our weekly sales are $100,000. Okay, so let's do this project with you guys real quick. Okay, your weekly sales are $100,000. Okay, out of those $100,000, okay, your labor is at 24%. What is your how much money you got to spend for that week in your schedule? Sales 24,000, and you can go over 24%. What are your dollars that you can allowed to spend for that week schedule?
$2,400.
Add another zero. 24,000. So 100,000, you multiply that by 0.24, it gives you $24,000 to spend on the schedule. So 24,000, okay, now divided by 7, you got 3,428 to spend on a day, okay? You're paying your cooks $15 an hour. You can afford to have 228 hours of work that day. That's a lot. But again, that's 100,000. Some places only do 7,000. So you got to watch those numbers, okay? If you're doing the schedule and you tally all the hours and all the wages, and it becomes more than 24,000, you got to go back and adjust the schedule. Give more people off time off, or cut back some hours. You can come back to 24%. Okay, that is built in on your P&L statement at the end, and we're going to go over it hopefully on the last week, so we can make some adjustments as you go along. Okay. So restaurant scheduling software, there's a lot of them in the industry, but again, if you can make your own, you don't have to pay extra money, okay? Unless you it's attached to the POS system. So while it is possible to lay out your schedule manually, there are programs that can save you a lot of time and hassle as you create your schedule each week. Time clock integration, reporting, POS integration, optimal schedule creation, availability and certification tracking, mobile access. And now even days, you can even, when you do the schedule, it automatically sends it to your phone app for the next week, okay? You don't have to call in, or you have to go into work and see what days you're working. It automatically sends you by text or by email to your phone or to your app. For new businesses or schedulers, software can be a massive time saver. There are always a variety of places you can find software, so take some time to shop around and pick what works for your needs. Some programs are designed to work with any food service setup, like 7 Shifts, that's one, okay? Meanwhile, other programs are made to specific demographics, like independent restaurants, such as Schedule Fly. That's another one, software company. I mean, it's not a software. There are no universal right answers when it comes to making a schedule. You just have to pick one that works for you. So you got 2 out in the industry, 7 Shifts and Schedule Fly. If you want to buy that software to do your schedules online, okay? If you don't want the software, consider using an old-fashioned method of calendar, employee rosters, a little more time. Okay, spreadsheets, again, okay, calendar takes too long. I'd rather do a spreadsheet to figure out how much money I'm spending, okay? Your staff schedule will likely see frequent changes. It is always a good idea to have your employees as much notice as possible, so plan on posting your schedule at least 2 weeks in advance. One popular method for posting schedules is to use a whiteboard with grid lines. If you can't transcribe your printed schedule into a larger whiteboard, then let your staff trade shifts as much as they please. Make sure the monitor overtime and the schedules are monitored. That's a hassle. I wouldn't do that. That's too much, and communication gets lost. Okay, $17 for a sport. Understand the law about labor. Prior to creating the employee schedule, you will need to familiarize yourself with all state employment laws pertaining to work hours, employee leave, overtime pay, and age requirement. work scheduled for minors. Food service jobs are some of the most popular positions for teenagers. Dishwashers, bussers, hostess, right? Not service because you can't serve alcohol if you're not 21, according to the TABC. In fact, many employees' first job is at a restaurant, washing dishes, waiting tables. As restaurant owners, you will likely receive applications for job inquiries from people under the age of 18. So it's important to know the legal guidelines for employing minors. Otherwise, child slavery. No, 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 no. So overview, okay? Say your hours. The kind of products you sell, as well as the competitive landscape, will determine your hours of operation. You will be closed 1 day a week, 2 days. How many days are you going to be off? Okay. On certain holidays, during winter season, most retail locations do a significant amount of businesses on the weekends, and depending on the type of product you sell and or your location, you may select or stay open late on weeknights. You will also want to determine ahead of time for which holidays you will be open, when you will run holiday sales, and when you will close early. Sales staffing guidelines. Next, determine how many employees are needed at a given time, or whether you can get by with part-timers or need only full-time staffers. So what do you need? Full-time, part-times? What is it you want? So with part-times, you're going to save some money because you're not going to be able to offer them the full benefits package. Full-times, yes, health insurance, paid time off, vacations, and so forth, so on. Part-times, you don't have to offer those benefits. Okay. Again, understand the law prior to creating an employee schedule. Also need to familiarize. Okay, we went with that. That's another one. Once you have your own schedule in place and have established ground rules for your employees, you can create an employee schedule. To do this, you will need to have enough personnel to cover busier times of the day. Have enough personnel for sales, special promotions, and busier times of the year. 4th of July, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Mother's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend. We got to make sure you cover those holidays. Consider who's on leave, sick leave, medical leave, disability, family, military, maternity, adoption, school leave, emergency, disaster. You must also consider vacations as a religious holidays employees may need to take off. Sometimes, I tell them, the best time to take vacations is when it's low. Not when it's busy, because when it's busy, they knew that's when they would do all that overtime. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay. Consider all other activities that may reduce your staff at any given time. For example, if you have several students working for you, finals during that week may mean that you lose half of your employees. Know ahead of time with employees are more likely to need some time off. And that is true, right? You as a student, you know that when the practicals come around, you might want to cut your schedule, want to be off that day because you got to be focused on those practicals. University, colleges, finals, high school too, finals, right? You might not want to work, okay? I had a student in the hostess stand. She would be in the office doing her homework because she had to catch up for finals. I'm like, you better go talk to your mom, right? Or your boss. Once you write a schedule, make sure that your needs are covered with enough front of the house staff, back of the house staff, cashiers, etc. Train your employees to handle various responsibilities. If you train your employees to handle various responsibilities, you are in much better position when one of your scheduled cashiers calls in sick. Flexible staffers are valuable. Provide incentives. It may also be in your best interest to provide incentives for employees who rarely call in sick or really need a change on their schedule. Employee of the month, right? Extra days off. We had an incentive of people that had perfect attendance that would get 2 days time off extra on the schedule, their choice, paid. So if you have perfect attendance, never called in sick, never late, always on time, for a certain time, then the human resources would offer them 2 paid days off extra on their schedule. Wouldn't that be nice in the workplace? If you're always on time, your HR says, you know what, we're going to have this incentive for this quarter. If nobody's calling sick, coming late, or always on time, always on work, then we're going to give him 2 days extra on the following schedule. Pay time off. That way you can choose, all right, I need Friday and Saturday because you're off Sunday, Monday. Now you have 4-day weekend paid off. Isn't it cool? I thought it was really cool. It was a really good incentive. Have backups for your schedule available. If these may be part-timers with the flexibility to come in as needed, Hiring a diverse group of employees, such as mix of students, full-time sales help, and seniors, lets you cover your needs and those to your customers. If possible, set up a regular routine whereby the same employees work at a set schedule each week. And that's fine too, like same part-timers. You can save some money, okay? Learning how to manage labor costs can mean that difference between success and failure. Very much true. More than 50% of restaurants fail in the first year of business, and 90 of those who make it through year number one don't make it through their second year. Why? With the odds like that, it's important to be proactive about keeping labor expenses low. And then it's true, guys. If you can't control your labor, your restaurant may be going downhill bad. Okay, because that's again 50% of your 30% of the pie. If it goes higher, then you're losing money. Okay. Ultimately, your employee schedule should meet your business needs without being over rigid. Retail owners and managers must walk a fine line to ensure that the workflow remains steady while the turnover remains low. It takes time to train new employees, so keep your current staff happy as a part process. The best advice is to plan ahead and ask your employees do the same. So you don't find yourself suddenly in the short staff. Always got to have the right staff. Again, we're going to start working on the labor assumption staff, hopefully today. Okay, we're going to start looking at your projects. So look at on your labor assumption tabs. Okay, look at what you need. What positions do you need? Okay, when scheduling a shift, you want more. You want one or more people for each of these categories. Back of the house, you need manager. It can be a kitchen manager, executive chef, head pastry, sous chef, or similar. Front of the house, GM, floor manager, bar manager, lead server, or similar. Kitchen staff, prep cooks, line cooks, dishwashers. Front of the house, front staff, counter staff, servers, bartenders, and bussers. So what do you need on your project? Okay. And again, you can attach a schedule on your concept, and we can see where you're, how well you can do your schedule. If you guys need a schedule, I sent you guys one at the beginning of the block. You guys should have it on that email that had a lot of spreadsheets. If you want to use that one and plug it into your project on the extra tab, okay? So we can take a look at your schedule, okay? So let's go over your projects. Let's see who we got first. Which is the one that went over yours, Ms. Anaid? Come on. Really? It's thinking. Here we go. Ms. Liana, this is your project. This is where you're at. Let us see where you are at.
The only thing I started doing since last time, well, I've been doing the costing. That's what I'm working on right now.
Which costing?
For my recipe or for my menu.
Okay, so the cost cards right here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
And then I did some of the SWOT the SWOT analysis, but I haven't finished it yet.
Okay. So let's go to the beginning. Okay, you have that all filled out, right? We went over the first day. And of course, this is going to change according to your menu, your recipe, cost cards. That's going to change. Okay. Demographics, you got them all plugged in. Awesome. Okay. Here we go. SWOT analysis. Yeah, that's going to take some time. You got Toll House, broth, funnel cake, and the other one, STX. That's going to take some time because you got to take a look at the website, see what they have to offer, and take a look at your concept, see what you have versus what they have.
Yeah.
Labor assumptions, again, that's what we went over, talk about possessions, duties, salary. And when the salary, don't go crazy. Don't start giving them $80,000 a year and 60, all this crazy money. Be a little bit conservative, right? Even though it's a project for the end of this block, be a little bit conservative, okay, on that part. Same thing when you're hourly employees, don't go off the hook and start paying them $17, $20 an hour. Be a little more conservative because all this information is going to filter down to the P&L statement at the end, okay? Okay. So recipe cost cards. So I would suggest on this one, on the standardized recipes, insert another tab, just like you did demographics, so you can attach your menu.
Okay.
Okay, so you can attach a menu. So pineapple mint spheres, got it. Pineapple juice, 4 cents an ounce. Coconut milk, 5 cents an ounce. Rum, 66 cents. Calcium lactate, 11 cents. Water, yes, you got to charge for water. You got to charge for water. Mint fresh, $1 for half an ounce. Okay, so total for this recipe is costing $1.27, right? It is right here, $1.27. Okay. This is for 12 servings.
Yeah. They're little, so it's in a mouche bouche, so it's just like a spherified pineapple, coconut milk, rum reduction.
Okay. So 12 servings, 11 cents a serving, and it's suggesting you sell it for 35 cents. So it's taking that 127, right? And 3. No, your cost for divided by G4. Why G4? Oh, 30%. Okay. So 35 cents. And this price right here, 35 cents, it doesn't have to be your final price.
Yeah.
That is a suggested. Okay. And also, how many you're going to have on the menu? Are they going to be a set of 4, a set of 5? What is it? You know, is it going to be just one single one, or different ones?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe just I might do like a pair, like a pineapple one and then another one. I just haven't thought of another one yet.
Okay. So that's one, and you got another one here, salted caramel marshmallows. Ooh, sounds nice. Okay. You got the sugar, 4 cents an ounce, water, syrup, 16 cents an ounce, heavy cream. Heavy cream is gonna be a little more expensive than that.
I think I got that one from what was it? The food costing sheet that Chef Lindsay sent us when we were in restaurant ops.
Okay, it's heavy cream is about $7 a quart, and that's 32 ounces.
Okay.
So take a look at the inventory sheets I sent you guys. That's the most updated. So that's gonna be a little more higher. Sea salt, 4 cents. European butter, it's about right.
That one I'm gonna change. I have to look back at my hold on, my costing sheets from when I did my costing in Chef Lindsay's class. That one's not a bulk butter price. I have a bulk European butter price. I just have to find it.
The inventory that I sent you guys, it also has Fluger butter, European style butter, in one of the sections. So and that comes in 36 per case. So whatever price that divided by 36 divided by 16, that's your price per ounce.
Okay.
What else? Gelatin powder, vanilla bean paste. Yeah, that's expensive. Sea salt, sugar, light corn syrup. Okay. So yes, as you go along these recipes, take a look at them, and I'm gonna go through every single one of you guys' recipes, and I'm gonna tell you guys, no, that's too low. That's a little bit it might not sound right. And you got more here to go. That's cool. So all that information that you're putting on your recipe cost cards and your labor assumptions is going to populate on the last segment here.
Okay.
It all populates. Again, the only thing you're going to plug in is your percentage. Are you busier January or are you slower? In Vegas, we know that January is somewhere between because New Year's Day, right? New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So maybe 50%. February, okay. Valentine's Day, all right, maybe 60%. Then you start looking into the spring and summer, which, business increase. So maybe 60, 70, 80, 100% in July. Here on your food costs, so you're going to go back to your labor cost of recipes. Okay? And you're going to gather all this information one by one. Okay. Where is it? Let me go back. Okay. So you're going to gather this price right here, 11 cents on all of them. You're going to add them all up. And then you're going to gather all this suggested menu price according to your menu, add them all up, and then divide the lower versus the high number. And that's going to give you a percentage, okay? And that's going to go right here.
Okay.
If you don't do that, along with just an estimated beverage cost, it won't populate your profit at the end of the bottom of the line, and that profit needs to be 20%. So once we by week 5, week 6, we should be taking a look at the profit margin here. If it's not 20%, then we got to go back, and I can tell you off the bat, your hourly payroll is going to be extremely high, and that's a given to across the board. So you got to go back to your labor assumptions and take a look at your labor and see if it makes sense or not. Then maybe start reducing their hourly wage or cut back on the staff that you have.
Okay.
Okay. So it all populates at the end. Everything's works together. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, another tab with your menu. If you want to do a schedule, that's fine too. Then it's sort of tab, but the schedule is not going to affect the population of numbers down to the profit line.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. What else we got next? Okay, we got Malibu Nights. Who's Malibu Nights?
Me, Karen.
Malibu Nights.
Yes.
There we go. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Demo business, Malibu Nights, LLC food truck, 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 12 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you're an overnight food truck.
Yes.
All those drunks, right? All those people in the club.
Yes.
All right. Good business. They're drunk. They don't care. They want to eat, right? Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay. Cafe on Wheels will be a cafe for those people that are up late night and need a coffee or big treat. Bring joy to people in the middle of the night and help them stay awake and then eat it or create that late night snack. I've been there. Demographics, all this information needs to be plugged in. And the covers for lunch, it depends on your seating capacity. Okay, so here it says seating capacity. How big is your how many customers are you willing are you estimating or serving on that shift? Okay. SWOT analysis. Okay, so where's the restaurant going to be at?
I'm thinking Austin, but I'm not really deciding yet.
Okay. Once you figure out, let's take a look at what your competitions are and then plug them in here like we did with the rest. Okay. And you're going to also insert a tab on the bottom left-hand corner and do your demographics. The cd-data.com and type in that zip code you plan to have in your food truck and then get all the information and plug it in. Okay. When you get to that point, if you're not too sure, let me know. We'll work it on the screen. Okay. I'll work with you on that one.
Okay.
Labor assumptions. Okay. Again, if you're going to have a kitchen manager, food truck, you're going to have a sous chef maybe, right? How many people are you going to have in the food truck? We just went over the schedule. That's just an example. How much you're going to pay them for front of the house. Maybe you want to have 1 cashier or 2 cashiers, or 3 cashiers. So that way you can have coverage between both shifts. And then, the swing one, the rounds one, so they can plug in on the days that one has off and the other one the other days has off. Okay. And also who's going to be in your back of the house food truck? How many cooks you're going to have? 1, 2, 3, or 4? What about in the commissary? Who's going to prep your food? Load it, unload it, clean, so forth, so on. Okay. This is the bulk of your project. It is going to take you some time. Okay. So I would suggest go back, plug in the concept summary, try to get it down, SWOT analysis, labor assumptions, and then start working the recipe cost cards. This is going to take at least about a week, 2 weeks to fill in. Okay. Just about. Okay. And again, the next one up is going to be this, not really investigations. We'll work with you, okay? Startup cost is going to also take you some time because you got to go to the web restaurant and even online, maybe Craigslist, and find a food truck because you need to plug in here on the line number 3 food truck. 1, okay, each, okay, and then how much price? 75,000. 30,000, whatever food truck might be costing online. And then whatever else, and you're gonna have inside the food truck, stoves, fans, propane tanks, cutting boards, standing buckets, register, seafood glass display, everything you can possibly imagine into the food truck, because once you get your food truck, it's an empty shell, nothing in it. You're going to have to fill it in with everything that you need for your concept. Okay. And the price, the bottom line price is going to be at least about, I would say, between $75,000 and $100,000. Okay. That's going to take some time too. Revenue assumptions, it'll all populate. No need to do anything with this sheet. It'll all generate. And again, monthly P&L, the yellow is, you're going to be busier January, or which month are you going to be expected to get busier? Okay. Your food cost, just like we did with Ms. Lily, you're going to take a look at each of your recipes, cost per item, add them up. And then on your menu, add up the sales price and divide the low by the high, and that's going to go here. Okay. And we'll figure out your beverage cost. It's going to populate the profit margin here. And again, it should be no less than 20%. If not, we go back and readjust it. Okay.
Okay.
So you got some work to be done for you, okay, on your project. Like I said, but we'll go over some of those assignments together. Got it?
Sure.
What else we got? Oh, here it is. Mr. Vic. Where's Tweety? Or should we say Pee-Pee? All right, here we go. Okay. Looks good. 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Okay, Austin, Texas. You got all the plugged in. This might change later on once you do your menu. Okay. Demographics, I see that you got them all in here too. Okay. I'll look good right here. SWOT analysis, I was looking at earlier. Okay. You got it plugged in. Okay. I haven't taken a look at it in detail, but I'm going to go read it, see what it all says. But you got the concept. Okay. That's good. Labor assumptions. Okay. You got head chef, sous chef, junior sous chef, front of house manager. Okay. All right, good. Nobody's over 50,000. You got front of the house employees. You got 2 hostess. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 servers. $3. That's good. Okay. And you got the back of the house staff. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line cooks, a prep, and 2 dishwashers. You might want to increase the dishwashers. Okay. Because if you're running 7 days a week, you might go into overtime with them. Okay. So maybe 2 dishwashers Friday and Saturday, maybe 1 Sunday, maybe 1 Tuesday, Wednesday, again 2 Thursday, 2 Friday. So you're looking at about 7 shifts to be covered. So you got to give it, maybe a higher 1 or 2 more. Recipe cost cards. Okay. Just like with Ms. Lily, we're going to go over them one by one and see how the prices look like. Okay, you got shrimp extra $26.30. That's a good size. They're 37 cents a piece. That might be a little bit higher. Where'd you get that price from?
Use it per ounce, not per piece.
Ah, okay. So let's do per piece. Okay. Because per ounce, every shrimp is different. They're not going to be the same size and the same weight. So when you take a look at 26 by 30, how much is that case cost? Okay, it's a 10-pound. I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, so you're paying $60 for a 10-pound box. Okay, 10 pounds. They're 26 and 30 per pound, average, right? That's a 26 per pound. So you take 60 divided by 10. Okay, that's what? Let's figure out real quick. So I mean, no, I'm sorry. Divided by 10. That's $6, right, per pound. Okay, $6, and you get 21 shrimp, 26 shrimp per pound. You're looking at 23 cents per each. Okay, and that's just an estimate. So take a look at your inventory sheets and pull out the price of the shrimp and see if that's comparable. Okay, orange. 8 cents an ounce, okay. Sherry wine, 23 cents. Oregano, 17 cents, a little bit expensive if it's dry. Shallots, okay. So once you plug in all this information, same process, okay. You're going to collect the cost of portion on your menu items, okay, and you're going to collect the suggested price menu of your menu. This is just suggested. Doesn't mean that's your price on the menu. You're going to add up all your cost of portions. You're going to add up all your suggested menu price. You're going to divide this one, the low by the high, and that's your food cost percent. Okay. At the end here, monthly P&L statement, you're going to plug the number here. Same number across the sheet. Okay. So we'll go take a look at your recipe cost cards, and here too on your startup costs. You're walking into a restaurant that has doesn't have no kitchen equipment, a bare building, nothing in the front, nothing in the back. Okay, you need freezers, you need coolers, you need sinks, you need cutting boards, everything that you can possibly think for your menu. Okay, you're gonna start plugging in here from the first aid kit, to camera security, to the POS system, to your gloves, your band-aids, your whisk, your cutting boards, your knives, your pair knives, ladles, spoons, tongs, whisk, stainless steel bowls, hotel pans, saute pans, stock pods, anything you can possibly think in a restaurant, all that got to be done here. And how many of each you need, and the price, you're going to get it from that website that I shared with you guys, that restaurant. Okay, and it's going to tell you it's going to be at least about, I would say, close to $100,000. Okay, ballpark. Revenue assumptions, you don't do nothing here. Okay, this already, see, all the numbers are being populated. Okay, so keep on working on the spreadsheet, on the recipe cost cards, and if you have done them all, then start working on your menu. You already the canva.com or the website, design your menu, create a tab, and add, copy and paste your menu on that spreadsheet. Okay.
So, chef, do I have to make a menu for my cost sheet? Okay.
Correct. Okay. So whatever you have, you got orange shrimp here, you got vegetarian stuffed mushrooms, you got lobster wontons, you got ribeye, you got what else? Whatever you got here, you got to do a menu. Okay. And then fairy tale, operating hours, your logo, your address, maybe a phone number, and then starters, mains, and desserts. And you got to plug in that information there. Okay. Gotcha. It's going to take some time, so you got enough time. You're ahead of the game, okay, which is good. So keep on working on it, okay. You got a few more recipes to cost out. That's okay. All right, let's take a look at another one. What do we have? Who's Planet 3?
That would be me, Shania.
Miss Shania. Okay. Planet 3, dessert bar. 7 days, 12 to 8 p.m. Okay. Name of the vegan cookie ice cream sandwich spot. Behind Planet 3 is being the third planet closest to the sun. Got it. Like third rock from the sun, right? That was a good show.
Yeah.
Stay green with Planet 3, Maryland. Awesome. Okay. You got demographics, locations, self-service. You got all this information here is probably going to change later on once you do your menu and figure out your recipe cost cards.
Yeah.
SWOT analysis. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I have work to do.
yeah, 4 to do, 3, and then you're on. You got to compare your own too. Okay. So Maryland, you got to do a zip code and pull out the restaurants in Maryland, whatever zip code you're looking at it, and try to come up with 3 restaurants that are close enough to your concept. Write them in here and start doing your SWOT analysis. Okay.
Okay.
Labor assumptions. You need to get that going as soon as possible. Your front of the house, back of the house, managers. Okay.
Okay.
And this is your monster project right here.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. If you have not done restaurant apps, or if you have, you know what it takes to make this happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work. Like I said, we're gonna do week 5 and week 4, 5, and 6 dedicated to your concept, you guys' concepts, and I'm gonna help you guys with your recipe cost cards. Okay. Same concept goes with the all that stuff. Okay. All right, Miss Ali, we're almost done. And then same thing with startup costs. You walk into a restaurant and you got an empty building, nothing in the back, no stoves, no hoods, no fire extinguishers, no sinks, nothing. So go to restaurants and figure out exactly what you need and start plugging in here: freezers, walk-in coolers, refrigerators, ice machines, sinks, sandy buckets, cutting boards, whisk, ladle, tongs, metro shelving, spices, everything you can possibly need, security camera, trash cans, trash bags, aprons, hats, gloves, whatever you need, all that goes in here, okay? You're gonna price it out and it's gonna tell you a dollar amount. It could be, like I said, maybe $100,000, okay? Revenue, you don't do nothing to that, leave it alone. And then again, we're gonna take a look at your concept. Being an ice cream place, your probably busiest months are gonna be April, May, June, July, August, September. Not so much January, maybe February for Valentine's Day, maybe around Easter, maybe, okay? So that percentage can go up and low, so you're gonna put the information here. And same thing with the rest. You're gonna tally all your raw costs per recipe and how much you're gonna sell it for and divide that number, and that's gonna give you your percentage. This profit number needs to be 20%, no less than that, okay? Once everything's done, okay? Got it? All right, you got some work to be done on that one, okay? Get on if you can, okay? And again, week 4, 5, and 6, we're gonna work on it on everybody. So I'm gonna help you guys navigate through this concepts, and I'm gonna help you allocate all those information. Got it? Okay. Who else we got? Oh, this is Chubbs. He's not here today. Wolfpack Bar and Grill. Zach, where you go?
Chef, I didn't have much time to work on that this weekend because I was at work the whole time. And so nothing's changed on it because I haven't shared anything with you.
Okay.
I've changed like a few things on the summary, but it was just the seating, and I added one graph.
Okay. When are you gonna have time to start working on it?
I was gonna work on that this evening after class, whenever you were.
Okay. Try to get as much done as you can. Again, week 4 and 5 is gonna come on real quick. I'm not gonna help you all guys out, but the more you have, the more I can assist you with this project. Okay.
Perfect.
So we gotta get that as soon as possible. Okay. What else? Monsieur, do we have yours? Do I have yours? Still with us, Monsieur? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, chef.
Okay. So I'm going to pull up a sample project, okay, that Monsieur is working on, but this is not hers, okay? Those are you guys who might be interested, maybe not, okay? So we are, she's working on a THC infused menu concept, okay? Again, I'm not promoting, but again, it's coming. We know that it's coming. It's already here, someplace in California, Colorado, it's coming, right? So this is a project that was done 2 years ago, okay? But one of my students, the first restaurant ops, she wanted to go that route. I could go more, go for it, more power to you, okay? So here's her menu. Let me see if I can zoom in, okay? Here's the menu, okay? I don't know if you guys can see it. Percent. I ain't nobody. So on the menu, if you want to go this route, I would suggest, I don't know if you can see real clear, logo and type of restaurant. Go ahead.
All I see is the chef slang video.
What? The fuck? Oh, okay. There you go. This one. See it now?
Yes.
Okay. That's the right one. Okay. So this is a THC infused menu. Okay. Salads, again, logo, name, so forth, so on, the social media stickers to it. This one, again, she wanted to go this route. Okay, let's go for it. Okay. So on the menu, it says got can't read Caesar salad. The description behind it, the regular price $8.59, regular Caesar salad, and $16.99 with whatever strand you want to add to it. Is it Purple Haze, Trainwreck, Dirty Girl, Kush, Pineapple Express, whatever strand you want to have the menu, but it has to be noted at the top or in the bottom. Okay, regular salad, and then infused with X amount of grams on this item. This is how much it's going to cost you. Okay, so two prices: one regular and one with the strand on it. But you got to label the strand, or maybe somewhere here in the bottom of the box, instead of having number 1 Angus beef and Mary Jane, and maybe have the types of strands you're offering with your menu project. Okay, so that's a concept if you guys want to go that route. Okay, she's got her sheets right here. Okay, everything costed out. So again, it all depends where you want to go with your project, how far you want to go with it. And again, the biggest issue, not the biggest, the biggest challenge is your recipe cost card and whatchamacallit, the other one, your startup costs. Those are your main ones. Okay, once you have the first 3 tabs, summary concept, SWOT analysis, demographics, and then we can start working on your recipes and then do your menu and then maybe the layout, what it's going to look like inside, outside. Okay, go to Google, look at the pictures and start looking around. Okay. Fast and Furious guys, I still haven't received some of yours. Ms. Madison, do we have yours?
Yeah, I thought I sent it to you on Thursday. Did it not go through?
Oh, it did. Sorry, we didn't go over it. We'll do it tomorrow. So got yours. Ms. Dejas got yours too. Ms. Catherine, I got yours. Ms. Amber, I got yours. Karima, I think I have yours too. What else? Shay, do I have yours? I can't remember. But we'll take a look at more in detail in the next couple of days. If you haven't started, let's get it going because they do take some time. They do take some time. Okay. Any questions for me, guys? Get your head to the grinding stone and start working on your project.
Do you happen to have mine?
Mr. Jesus, the only thing I got for you is the demographics. You sent them a while ago, but not this kind of summary concept.
Huh.
What is it called?
Let me try. Hold on, let me try again.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do have yours. It's slow. Anyways, guys, if you have no questions, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Working your project, and let's get it going. Right? Any thoughts? And I'm looking for the ones I haven't shared. Okay, so tomorrow, share. Right, Miss Kayla? All right. See you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace.